you fell off a ladder, you're in a car accident. When it comes to acute care, I think trauma surgeons, the emergency room, they do an excellent job. There's nobody better. 5-star, any university medical center, most hospitals, they just do an outstanding job. But the majority of healthcare, 93% is chronic care: cancer, diabetes, chronic pain, fibromyalgia. And for that, I think we do a really dismal job. And so we need to have a different approach. And I think it comes from a thing called SOAP. We all know it, whether you've been out of medical school for 6 months, 6 years, or 40 years, it's a problem-oriented approach. So instead, I created TelMD so people could be really proactive, so they can make healthier choices on a daily basis to really strengthen the power of their own immune system. There's nothing more powerful when it comes to healing than your own immune system. So I think by making better choices and partnering with a physician.
Hey there, my friend. Welcome to the Powerful and Passionate Healthcare Professionals Podcast. I'm your host, Sabrina. I am a cardiothoracic surgery PA with a background in public health and neuroscience. I'm also your peak performance coach. I had to say no to working extreme long hours where I was always on call and feeling exhausted, underappreciated, and undervalued, and said heck yes to a life and career that elevates my energy and passion without compromising my health and sanity. Now I'm on the mission to support ambitious healthcare professional like you with a demanding career to become a confident leader who are living purposefully and fulfilled to truly be both a powerhouse in your career and a passionate person in life. Let's start our journey today. Hi, everyone. This is Sabrina, your host for the Powerful and Passionate Healthcare Professionals podcast. And today we have another awesome guest. Today we have Dr. Terry Franklin here. He is an award-winning family physician in Monterey, California, and the founder of TelMD, an online platform that connects holistic practitioners with wellness seekers. TelMD offers an alternative and better approach to the allopathic model of healthcare, one that takes a proactive, personalized approach that empowers wellness. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I've heard so much about you. I've listened to your podcast. I think you're 1 in a million, 1 in a billion that's really making a difference out there. If I had a hat on, I would take my hat off to you.
Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you so much. And definitely it's an honor to have hear from someone who's so senior, who has been so accomplished already, and to know that all of us are playing in a part in this society, who we wanted to serve, and we're making things better. And that's awesome. And definitely we want you to shine through. Please share with our listeners where everything come from for you. How did you come about creating TelMD?
So it's a really good question. And, one time I was actually sitting in a seminar with Dr. Weil. Do you know who Dr. Weil is? He wrote the book, 8 Weeks to Optimal Health, Spontaneous Healing. And, he was talking about, alternative medicine. He was talking about chiropractors and acupuncturists and homeopathy. And it was titled Healthcare in the New Millennium. And so, I asked him at the end of the conversation, after the end of the seminar, I says, it's kind of cool that you're presenting these different modalities, but it's not really alternative medicine because it's not a different approach. It's just non-traditional modalities like acupuncture, Chinese medicine. It's still a problem-oriented approach. And so I got thinking about it, and I think that I realized that healthcare is divided into 2 different segments. You have acute and you have chronic care. Acute care is where you have chest pain, shortness of breath, you fell off a ladder, you're in a car accident. When it comes to acute care, I think trauma surgeons, the emergency room, they do an excellent job. There's nobody better. 5-star, any university medical center, most hospitals, they just do an outstanding job. But the majority of healthcare, 93% is chronic care: cancer, diabetes, chronic pain, fibromyalgia. And for that, I think we do a really dismal job. And so we need to have a different approach. And I think it comes from a thing called SOAP. We all know it, whether you've been out of medical school for 6 months, 6 years, or 40 years, it's a problem-oriented approach. So instead, I created TelMD so people could be really proactive, so they can make healthier choices on a daily basis to really strengthen the power of their own immune system. There's nothing more powerful when it comes to healing than your own immune system. So I think by making better choices and partnering with a physician, a wellness coach, a PA, a nurse practitioner, a chiropractor, a naturopath, and really begin to kind of change your journey in life and optimize the power of your own immune system is really the way to not become a victim of chronic disease.
Yes, that's so well said. The other day, I was on a podcast being a speaker as well, and we talk about how medicine in itself, we're so good at treating disease, but we're not really actually that good about prevention. And for people who have chronic disease, they're bound to have additional things, comorbidities. How can we even prevent that from happening or prevent their own disease from progressing? So from your perspective, adding in all these different modalities to actually optimize their care and not just feeling like you have this symptom, let's treat it, this disease, let's treat it.
Well, part of it is the system. Our problem is our ticket to going to the doctor. If you call and you say, I'm 42 years old and I'm fine and I just want to come in and talk to the doctor, they'll say, call back when you got a problem. They're not really going to take you very seriously. So your problem is really kind of your ticket. And what we do at TelMD, we really help people to change their mindset, to change their thinking, where health should really be daily choices on every day. And to think about not just daily choices, but make the choices more conscious. Oftentimes, we get stressed. What do? We eat that donut. We eat that ice cream. We drink alcohol. We smoke cigarettes. So it's about instead, let's go for a walk. Let's optimize our sleep. Let's really think about how can we make better choices. I think one of the greatest things that's ever been brought to my knowledge is meditation. Meditation really helps put more order in the universe and really kind of helps you kind of go through the day in a more organized way. I think too often we let life take over us instead of us being control over life.
Oh, yeah, that's such a good point. When we talk about these mental control, and one of the biggest thing I talk about is mental hygiene. How can we reboot our mental immunity and not just physical immunity? It's still all inflammatory responses. When we're able to better control our thought process, our perspective, then the things that are actually non-negotiable, you can keep yourself accountable.
Yeah, the best Prozac is nature. Sitting and listening to the sounds of the ocean, spending time at Yosemite, going to a walk in a park, sitting underneath a tree, adopting a dog or cat from SPCA, and just spending time in nature. We got to learn to turn off the TV, get off the couch, and just really just listen to ourselves and be in touch with our real, genuine self. I think our authentic self is really what it's about. I think the good Lord, when we all meet him in heaven or wherever we go, he's going to say, why didn't you become you? And I think that's the journey of life, is really just being authentic to yourself.
And it's harder to do sometimes because I feel like many people, they have a wrong reward system. When they work a long, extensive shift, they get home, they're so tired, they sit on the couch. Now we're not moving.
Yeah.
And when we sit on the couch, naturally turn on Netflix. And the Netflix auto plays. You can't even turn that thing off. It's already going to the next episode. Or for some people, it's that, oh, I need this show. This is my reward. And that become non-negotiable. But if you give off that TV, you take a walk and you actually go to sleep on time, the energy level is so different the next morning.
We have such an ability, you're 100% right. We have such an ability of rationalizing something. I had a horrible day. I deserve this alcohol or this big bowl of ice cream or another pint of Haagen-Dazs or whatever it means. I deserve it because something X, Y, and Z happened. We have such an incredible way of rationalizing it. But I think you're right. First of all, there's nothing more therapeutic in all of healthcare than a good night's sleep. I always tell couples who come and see me, Does your husband, does your wife, does your partner, boyfriend or girlfriend, do they snore? It's unbelievable how we really don't do a very good job as physicians of diagnosing sleep apnea. And that's a huge, huge problem. A lot of it has to do with being out of weight. It has to do with being out of shape. But, so I want to say to you, don't mess with my Netflix because I love Netflix. So my deal is I have a telethon bicycle set up in front of the TV. So the agreement is if I'm going to watch a movie or I'm going to watch a show, I need to put on my biking shorts and I need to be on the bike.
Oh, that's so awesome. I remember just talking to someone else about it. I have these kettlebells. You can do a body weight exercise or with simple handheld weight, dumbbells, kettlebells. You can do a whole series by watching the TV. Any little break or change frame, and that's your time to do another set, right?
Yeah.
And there's so many things we can be really creative in our life if you actually find yourself in a position, you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. And that one tiny step will have a ripple effect.
I totally agree with you. And I do love watching movies and I do love Netflix. But we also have to be aware that Netflix and movies and TVs really, they interfere with us really becoming who we are. It's kind of like turning off reality. And I really enjoy, I live about a mile from the ocean and I enjoy just sitting on the couch and meditating for 30 or 40 minutes. For me, that changes the world. It really minimizes entropy and really puts me in touch. I don't know anything more health than sleep and meditation. I think it's great spending time in nature. And that's what we do with TelMD is we partner people with wellness coaches, with medical doctors, with osteopaths, with PAs, with nurse practitioners, chiropractors, and naturopaths to help them get on a wellness path. Try to be proactive and get excited about the diabetes, heart disease, and cancer they can ever prevent. And it has to be done as a family. You can't be on one diet and nutrition and your husband or partner be on another. What's good for you is good for the rest of the family.
Exactly, because how we see things, how our family react is all interconnected. Our life are not just one area. Oh, I'm super focused on my job. I'm accomplished. I feel satisfied. But if we didn't have a good connection with our family members, and then we don't feel like we have that back support. Because you still have to go home to someone, to that like lovey-dovey connection. One thing that a bunch of people have talked to me today, actually, surprisingly, just exactly that. They feel like work is so stressful and they have to dump all that stress to their husband or to their wife. And yes, they can be very understanding, but if you're transferring all that negative energy to them, eventually they're also going to be in a negative state as you. So I had to say, how can you separate yourself, reset your energy? So when you go home, you're fresh.
Yeah, I think so. Here's what I do. I can't tell you, I think there are different things that work for different people. So I live in Monterey and there's a route that's about 10 or 15 miles out of my way, but it goes along the ocean. And so I drive along the ocean. That's what I do. And by the time I get home, I'm doing pretty good. On most days, all I do is I grab my dog, put on some shorts, a sweatshirt, and go for a run in the mountains. So there's hills and mountains. And I don't think there's any better antidepressant, any better way to kind of settle yourself than either go hiking or running or mountain bike riding in nature. I think nature is a way to really balance yourself. And I live about a mile from the ocean. I leave the windows open at night and really sleep to the sound of the ocean. I think it's a real calming effect. The other thing I want to say is that it's really important that we don't identify ourselves by what we do. We're much bigger and we're worth a whole lot more than being a doctor, a nurse, a PA, construction worker, or an accountant. We really got to identify with who we are. Oftentimes, when we're professionals, that becomes our identity. And I think that's a real mistake. We can still become artists or, actors, but more importantly is we become ourselves, really, truly authentic to ourselves. Get rid of the ego and just be real.
Exactly. That is one of the 9 sabotagers that people have, because in the beginning phases, we feel like if we tie ourselves to that identity of becoming someone, and that will help us to gain some type of respect, satisfaction, and reward. However, if we continue to tie ourselves to that achievement, the title, the bonus, then we feel like we are our own slave and it's never ending. When we are able to identify what truly matters to us, what our value system away from the outside world, then we are simply being and being in the present. Is so well said. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Success is internal. It's not about another car. It's not about a house. It's really internal. We need to internalize it and feel good who we are. It's not about getting something or buying something or achieving something. It's more about who are we and who are we becoming.
So true. If we don't even know what it means to stand up, have a personal mission, and what your purpose is even in the world, then we're going to pick a multiple track and feeling like we're running along all these tracks and going nowhere in life. And it doesn't matter what you have accomplished. Once you hit that ceiling of being able to, let's say, finish a big deal, had this big surgery and patient recover, and then what? Do you really have that reward system lasting you for days and weeks and even months? Or you feel like now I have to seek something else to do just to fill that rush?
Yeah. There's a void inside all of us, and we need to fulfill that void with love, with compassion. And as we say in my culture, tikkun olam, to heal the world, to make the world better. And I think that's what your podcast is, and that's what you do every day. And for that, I thank you.
Oh, thank you so much to share your wisdom. I know you're building something big coming up, so I really want you to share with us what that is look like.
So TelMD, so it's TelMD, is a web app. It'll be out in about 6 weeks, probably November 20th is our launch date. And what it'll do is it'll give you the information, it'll give you the tools to connect with people, it'll connect with content, podcasts, articles, blogs, but also with physicians, PAs, nurse practitioners, chiropractors, and naturopaths in your area or around the world to help you on the journey, to help you partner with you to achieve whatever your goals are. And the idea about it is it's not about looking up problems. So it's not about chest pain or shortness of breath or about losing weight. It's more about how do I become the strongest, most stable human being possible? And how do I strengthen my own immune system and become me, become myself, become who I'm supposed to become? So it's really about finding balance in your life and taking control and educating you to making better, informed, empowered decisions.
That's so awesome. And I definitely wanted to join in. So from a professional standpoint, a provider standpoint, how can we become a member or be joining in this great new change that you're providing for us?
So there are two sides to it. One is for wellness, people looking to get better, and the other is for healthcare practitioners. So for wellness users, just to come to the site and join is completely free. If you want to do a component like telemedicine, there is a fee that's involved with it. And the same thing with practitioners. You can join, you can get an upgraded premium membership. Believe it or not, the premium membership, you ready for this, is $35 a month. So we make it very, very affordable. And then we set you up with clients, patients around the world. We bill people in 15-minute intervals. You get about 85% of it and 15% goes to the platform.
Wow, that is such a huge thing.
But besides that, we have a lot of innovators and we have featured practitioners with their own blogs. When you go to it, it's really the content that really helps people to reinforce a positive, holistic lifestyle. But the telemedicine component, we're just in the process of putting the final touches on it. Should be out at the latter part of November.
That's so awesome. I think it gives practitioners like myself who are speakers, coaches, alternative medicine, another area for us to share our message, really share and truly create some more changes. And for people who want to now have a place to connect where everything's one place, you no longer have to search for this side, that side. And it's such a great resource that you're building.
We pull all kinds of podcasts and content from all over the internet. So for like you, we can make you, let's say, a TelMD innovator, where you could have multiple podcasts on the site and you can reach literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people around the planet. So I think that the one thing we've learned about COVID-19 is telemedicine really works and people really like it. And I think that all of us every day are praying for a huge breakthrough and the health of our family and friends. And there'll be light at the end of the tunnel. But I think that, being able to connect and to make the world a little smaller through podcasts, through Zoom, through TelMD, really is going to add to the quality of all of our lives.
Exactly. The other day, I was just talking to a few girlfriends and we were saying, how come we're not doing this more often? And just same with family members who are far away, you don't actually get to see each other. But Zoom, Skype, all these technology make things so easy. And we need to be able to leverage on this new innovation, just like what Dr. Franklin is providing for us. So then we can elevate ourselves and others as well.
We don't really think of it in terms of health, but connecting with your friends, obviously being, in person is better. But as people live more mobile lives and they're around the country, around the world, just connecting with people it's really good for our own health. It's good for their health. It's good for your mind. It's good for your brain, and it's good for your soul and your spirit.
Yes, so well said. I was saying for many people, when they take my in-depth holistic life assessment, surprisingly, most people don't really have a good social support, or they say, oh, I have all these friends, but when was the last time you actually connect with them, right?
Yeah.
And it becomes the really back burner of things. But if we don't really feel like we have people that truly support us that are not family, because we feel like family are default to love you. But now these are the people who are truly there for you no matter what.
Boy, I think especially this time, it's really important, whether it be texting or Zoom or FaceTiming people that, I have a group of physicians, docs, from the hospital that we meet every Thursday. We haven't met since, going on 8 or 9 months. I have friends that I have sushi with every Friday night and we're not meeting, but I really have been trying to reach out to them on Zoom or Facebook or just texting them and letting them know that I'm thinking about them. I think everybody should know out there that it's a really difficult time. It's a very challenging time, but we're going to get through it. And I think our country and our world is going to be a safer and a better place. And I think it's going to reflect that wellness and our health has to be a conscious choice. It's not something that just happens to us. It's something that we need to put time and energy and thought into every day.
Exactly. So well said. Anything that we do, it matters. It's all intertwined. When you ignore something, and that's actually a sabotager, because when you ignore something, it's bound to come out somewhere else down your life. So really take your life in your own hand, take control, understanding what it truly matters to you first, and then we can reverse engineer to create that ideal life for you. And with help of TelMD, TelMD, and Dr. Franklin, and this great innovations out there, we can truly create anything that you want to, because technology has been there. Awesome. Anything else you would share with our audience before we hop off?
Be your authentic self. Take your ego and put it over there. Call that person that you're angry with or you're mad at, or maybe you could have done something better. Ask for forgiveness. Tell them that you're sorry. Apologize. Rid your life as much as possible of negativity, jealousy, envy, greed, hate, anger. Oftentimes, those types of feelings is a reflection of something that we can do better. And to really, really embrace the miracle of life, because it truly is, and put time and energy into your family, to your friends, but most important to yourself, because life truly is a miracle, and we're all blessed to be able to be here with you today.
Yes, we so appreciate everyone from listening in. I know some people might want to talk to you more in detail about the platform. How would they be able to reach you?
You can just reach me at TEL, at telmd.com. Again, I don't have a definite date. I wish I did, but the end of November, we should be, ready to launch. And I promise you that if you take a look at it, you're going to be really, really excited about it. Not so much that I did it. I just have a wonderful, wonderful team. And together, we've really created something really special. So TEL at TelMD.com, probably around, November 20th to November 30th. The end of November, we should have it out.
Awesome. And would you build a waitlist thing where you can get notified if on your website? So people, if they go on there, they can be notified of when your final launch date
Absolutely.
is?
Yeah, absolutely. We keep people informed as to our launch date. And if you just go on and register, there are no charge to register, whether you're a practitioner, a chiropractor, a wellness, or just interested in learning more about TelMD, go ahead and register, and there's absolutely no fee. There are services that we do charge for, but it's very transparent and they're very nominal.
Exactly. Thank you so much for this resource to empower both the health wellness seekers to optimize their life and also practitioners, just like the rest of us, to be able to have additional platform to share our knowledge and then share our message. I so appreciate you being here, and thank you everyone for listening in. And if you like this episode, please give us a review and share with us what your feedback and what other messages and interviews, topics that you would like to hear more of, and share with other people if you find this helpful. Have a great day. All right, my friend, how did you love this episode? Make sure to subscribe to our show so you can continue to build your positive intelligence for that beautiful mind of yours to live powerfully and passionate. I know this is just the tip of the iceberg. You probably have a lot more questions on actually how do I implement those things into my own life? Well, this is the solution. Joining us inside the private Facebook group, go to facebook.com/groups/powerful passionate, where I go live weekly to answer any questions that you have and continue to put more resources for you to help you to get to that point. You can be both powerful and passionate, where you're no longer working on any mundane work and truly focusing on the things that matter. You can be both powerful and passionate, where you can overcome any mental roadblocks keeping you from success. You can be both powerful and passionate, where you feel energized from the moment you woke up to the time you go to bed. Join me, and together we can create a life where you can be both powerful and passionate.